Road conditions are improving here in Barton County, but there's still a lot of work to be done. I'm Anthony Saviello. I'll have what officials are saying about what their plan of attack is coming up.
Plus, we take a look at how the extreme cold can take a toll on first responders, even when fighting hot fires.
A local plumber from Carthage says he's already starting to get phone calls for frozen pipes. I'm Lonnie Walton in Carthage. I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The snowfall is over, but it's left a mess behind. This is a look over Joplin, and many of the streets here and in communities all across the 4 states are snow-packed. Some snowdrifts have created impassable barriers, and the bigger threat now is the bitter cold. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. And let's go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy with a first look at your forecast.
Yeah, thankfully we have all of the accumulating snow pretty much out of here, but we still have the snow-packed roads across the region. Temperatures, we couldn't go anywhere. Look at this. We started at 1, only went to 11. For an afternoon high, average high is 51 degrees. So we got flurries today for the season now because we got 7 inches yesterday in Joplin. We're at 18.5 inches. The average is 12.5. Now we got to deal with the cold. So we have extreme cold warning in place. This is through the overnight hours tonight. And then again, as we go into the morning hours tomorrow, but clear skies, snowpack, temperatures dropping already in the lower single digits, and they will continue to go down tonight. When are we going to warm up? We're going to look at all that here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Road conditions vary across parts of the 4 states, but they can be treacherous. We're going to check in first with KOAM's Shannon Becker in Jasper County.
Here in Jasper County, in fact, Joplin, our busiest intersection here at 7th and Range Line, you're going to find the major roads mostly clear. State and county plows have been out, but even some major roads like 7th and Duquesne, you'll find packed snow leading up to traffic signals. You got to give yourself plenty of room to stop. In Carthage, the courthouse is closed for the 2nd day, and finding normal streets like River, they're not clear. This car crashed into a parked car and flipped over. Carthage police say that speed is a factor. Cannot drive normal speeds in these conditions. Additionally, when you see an abandoned vehicle wrapped in yellow tape in the state of Missouri, that means this wreck has been checked, so don't call 911 again. And finally, the biggest challenge you might have is getting out of your own driveway with piles of snow that the plows have built up. In Jasper County, Joplin, I'm Shannon Becker, KOAM News Now.
Well, road crews have their hands full trying to clear away the mess. KOAM's Anthony Saviello is in Barton County and shows us how towns are still being impacted.
Well, as you can see, the city streets behind me here in downtown Lamar, they have been cleared for the most part. But it's a different story in some of the other roads here in Lamar and across Barton County. For instance, both Liberal and Golden City are still dealing with snow-packed roads, keeping roads that are traveled at a low rate of speed dangerous. There are roads still in that condition for Lamar as well. This mound of snow here is evidence of the city's efforts to clear the streets. However, as you can see from the road behind me, there's still plenty more work to be done.
There's a couple different things we do when you start looking at snow removal and then the packed slush removal. We've actually had crews working overnight to remove the snow cover and try to get down as low as they can to the surface. And then we'll go back behind that and treat that surface also. And as the ground heats up a little bit and the sun comes out, you'll actually get a lot of that ice to melt off the pavement. Town roads aren't the only ones still working to be cleared. MoDOT releasing a statement on Facebook saying many roads, including Highway 49, are still partly covered, and extra caution should be taken near bridges and off-ramps. So whether you're good at driving in the snow or not, the best option? Stay home. And if you can't, be sure that you have a plan of action so that way you're getting only what you need. In Barton County, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Well, the hazardous road conditions combined with the extreme cold can take a toll on first responders. Take a look at this house fire from just outside Carthage earlier today. Carthage Fire Chief Jason Martin tells us crews immediately ran into issues getting to the home with treacherous road conditions. And once they arrived, firefighters struggled with frozen equipment, making it difficult to fully operate. There are also no fire hydrants in that area, and crews had to rely on a tanker shuttle to battle the blaze. Everyone inside got out safely and no firefighters were injured. The home, though, is a total loss, and the cause of fire is under investigation. Area plumbers say although they are not getting a lot of busted pipes in the area yet, they're getting calls for frozen ones. They say pipes like these will leave you without water and strain your pocketbook. KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports.
Right now we're seeing frozen pipes.
Nathan Terry is the owner of Spring River Drain and Sewer in Carthage. He says although he hasn't seen any busted pipes for now, the frozen ones aren't any better.
My guys are in fact out on frozen pipe calls today that are just that people don't have water.
Barrett Scatterly, chief linguistic coordinator at Scatterly Plumbing, says you can have a broken pipe and not even know it.
When it thaws, like next week when it's in the 60s, it's usually manifested by it raining in your house. So you want to try to be aware of any problems you have before that happens, because that's when the real damage occurs.
What our experts are saying, one of the easier things to do at home is to keep that water trickling.
Water that is moving through the pipe does not freeze as quickly as water that's just sitting there.
And
know where your whole house water shutoff is in case you have a problem. Make sure that all your hoses are disconnected from the hydrants on the outside. Close up all the holes in your crawl space.
And for Terry, you only need 2 ingredients to solve this frozen pipe issue.
Heat and insulation are the 2 best things to consider when you're trying to avoid frozen pipes.
And Terry cautions that you need to follow these measures because if you don't,
or we'll be right back out at your house next year.
Reporting in Carthage, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Experts say spots that were frozen in your house in the past are at high risk of freezing again. Well, a man is behind bars tonight accused of attempting to kidnap a newborn baby in Parsons, Kansas. According to Parsons police, Labette Health surveillance video showed Eric Matthews trying to take the baby yesterday. Police say a family member of the infant stopped Matthews from exiting the ward with the child, and then hospital security prevented him from leaving. Investigators learned Matthews was known to the family. Official charges of kidnapping and child endangerment have been submitted to the Labette County Attorney's Office for prosecution. Coming up, the Pope's health.
Pope Francis remains in the hospital after developing pneumonia in both of his lungs. I'm Connor Hansen with more details about his condition coming up.
And later, despite the snow and cold, spring calving season is underway. We look at the added challenges ranchers often face this time of year. Pope Francis is battling pneumonia in both lungs as the 88-year-old's hospital stay gets extended. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has the latest on what the Vatican is saying.
Pope Francis has been in the hospital since Friday while doctors treat him for what the Vatican is now calling a complex condition. Originally hospitalized for bronchitis, the Pope then developed pneumonia in both lungs. The condition is concerning for the 88-year-old who had part of his right lung removed when he was younger. Still, the Vatican says Pope Francis is in good spirits.
Pope Francis is going forward and is very lucid. He is showing an extraordinary testimony of serenity and aptitude during illness.
People gathered outside Rome's Gemelli Hospital to show support.
We came to pray for our Pope. He's not feeling fine, so we came to pray for him.
He is in the hands of the best doctors that exist not just in Rome, but in Italy, because Gemelli is very well known even on an international level.
Pope Francis has been hospitalized several times with other health issues. One respiratory expert explains why this hospital stay might have become necessary.
If someone has damaged lungs and they're having a problem breathing, they may need more support with that. Treatments like oxygen to help kind of tide them through the infection until it clears up.
Pope Francis has been reluctant to miss public events in the past. His public greeting has been canceled for Wednesday, and it's still unclear if he'll miss Sunday's blessing. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, President Donald Trump signs an executive order aiming to expand access to IVF and make it more affordable. The order says it wants a focus on addressing current policies that make IVF too expensive. Policy recommendations would be developed and then submitted in the next 3 months. The White House says as many as 1 in 7 couples trying to have a baby are unable to conceive. The administration says the cost ranges from $12,000 to $25,000 per IVF cycle, and that treatment is often not fully covered by health insurance. Restrictions on abortion are leading to a rise in abortions in the states that protect abortion rights. A study published in JAMA Network shows a 17% increase in abortions in Colorado between 2020 and 2023. Much of that increase is due to people from Texas traveling to Colorado for the procedure after a Texas law banned nearly all abortions there. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your 4-state forecast and later winter weather across the country.
A major winter storm is threatening cleanup efforts after the weekend's deadly floods. I'm John Panseri in Fulton, Kentucky. I'll have details coming up.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a nasty one outside for us today. Temperatures, we only climbed to 11 degrees. Of course, we had flurries, light snow showers during the morning hours, and then sunshine during the afternoon. Let's go outside right now. Let's take a look. You can still see there's still some snow on the roads, especially on Range Line. Looking a little bit better on 69 on the Kansas side. The back roads are still mainly covered. Even though we got some sunshine today, we just didn't get enough energy from the sun to kind of do some melting. But we'll work on that as we go through the next couple days. Extreme cold warning. Pretty much the entire region. This is going to go until the noon hour tomorrow. This is due to bitterly cold temperatures. They're going to be rotating through for us tonight. Already 1 in Iola, 7 in Veneta, 4 in Neosho, 2 in Lamar. If you haven't been dripping your pipes the past 2 days, make sure you do that, as of course you can get frozen pipes. Winds are going to finally switch out of the south once we get to Friday, and that's really going to start a nice warming trend for us as we go toward the weekend. All right, look at our wind chills. By morning, minus 20 to minus 25. Dangerously cold. As we go through the afternoon, they're going to rise to 0 to 5 above. So even when the winds aren't going to be super strong, it's still going to feel super cold out there. Wind chills back down again as we get into the evening hours. Our storm system, long gone. Of course, 7 inches officially in Joplin. Really across the region, we had about 4 to about 9 across the region. A few clouds out to our west. We have a weak little wave across the western third of the country. This will give us some clouds, maybe a couple flurries as we go into Friday. Besides that, we're pretty calm. We're just super cold. Temperatures, look at this, about minus 7 to minus 10 across the region for overnight lows, which is going to be record breaking for us tonight. Near 10 by noon, plenty of sunshine. I think most of us 13, 14, maybe 15 degrees for a high temp on Thursday afternoon. So a little bit better than what we saw today. Mostly cloudy skies tomorrow night into Friday morning. We back down near 0 once again. Then on Friday morning, we may get a few random flurries and a few more in the afternoon, but our temperatures looking better as we go into the upper 20s for afternoon highs, and not as cold Friday night. We back down 8 to about 10 degrees, but the extreme cold sticking around as we go through the next couple days. Minus 6 at 7, 11 by noon, high temp, only 14 degrees. By the weekend, look at this, by Saturday, we should get above freezing, which is great news. Then we can really flip the switch once we get to next week. All right, alert day once again on your Thursday due to the extreme cold. 27 on Friday. Let's go 37 on Saturday, but check out Monday and Tuesday. 60, 62 on Tuesday. So let's say if we hit 62 on Tuesday, that's about over a 70-degree swing from what we're going to see tonight.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculously cold right now, and the fact that it could get that warm next week.
I know.
You know, and I'm surprised every time I see it. I don't know why. I do live here. I've lived here for 20 years now.
There you go.
I know what the weather's like here.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Skywatch weather app. Well, coming up, the politics behind shopping.
Some voters are refusing to shop at certain stores that have a political stance they don't like. I'm Madison Allworth with Fox Business. The full story coming up.
A new poll says shoppers are avoiding certain brands because of politics. Fox Business correspondent Madison Allworth has who's more likely to stop shopping at companies with differing political views.
A new form of political resistance. Both sides of the aisle are holding onto their dollars to send a message. 45% of Democrats say they would stop, drop, and not shop at a brand that they disagreed with politically, according to the Harris poll findings. 34% of Republicans say they would do the same. Get this, 4 out of 10 Americans have changed their spending habits in recent months because of politics. And while it's more Democrats doing this, Republicans have wielded a lot of power with their purse. Never forget Anheuser-Busch tanking after Republicans boycotted Bud Light. And now we have seen even more companies learning from those lessons and backing away from DEI policies. Target, Amazon, Disney, and Google have all rolled back DEI programs. This is in part because of shareholder pressure and also because of the Supreme Court affirmative action decision that was made in 2023. Target announced back in January that it would end its 3-year DEI goals. And now, Black faith leaders are calling for a Target boycott, saying if corporate America can't stand with us, we are not going to stand with corporate America. Meanwhile, companies like Apple, Costco, Microsoft, and Johnson & Johnson say they're sticking to their DEI efforts. In New York, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
Coca-Cola beverage line Simply is joining the prebiotic soda wars, launching its own Simply Pop line of fruit-flavored beverages, joining the ranks of popular rivals like Olipop and Poppy. The company says the drinks have no added sugar and contain 6 grams of prebiotic fiber to support gut health and vitamin C and zinc to support immune function. Simply Pop hits store shelves later this month. Nike teams up with Kim Kardashian's Skims on a new women's fitness wear brand. The companies say the venture will include apparel, footwear, and accessories that are inclusive to all body types and crafted to fit every curve and enhance the body's natural form. The first Nike Skims collection is expected to debut sometime this spring, with a global expansion coming in 2026. Still to come, postal workers trudge through the snow to complete their deliveries, why they take so much pride in their work. One group of workers who don't let a little thing like snow stand in their way is the United States Postal Service. Postal workers made their usual rounds today to 4 state communities, pretty much like they do every day. And for them, the guarantee of service is a pride for them and a bound of trust.
The reason people say that, we are out there in all types of weather, whether it's raining, snowing, things such as that. We're the nation's most trusted federal agency year after year, and we're the first signs of normalcy during maybe a hurricane or a tornado or things like that. So we're always taking pride in delivering for America, getting out there. And like I said before, we take pride in the fact that we're trusted so much by the nation, and we're going to do everything we can to keep that trust.
To give you an idea of what the Postal Service provides, in 2022, total volume of delivered mail was more than 127 billion individual pieces, and that includes letters, packages, periodicals, and more. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. Up next, cutting government spending.
Elon Musk and his Doge team continue cutting government spending. I'm Rebecca Kasser in Washington with where the group is planning to look next.
And tensions mount between President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Millions of Americans are bracing for another round of winter weather this week. In Kentucky and Tennessee, the conditions are threatening to impact flood recovery efforts. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Suri has the latest.
Another winter storm is sweeping across the country this week, and it's bringing snow, ice, and bitter cold temperatures to places starting to clean up from deadly weekend floods.
It's been dangerous so far. I know we've lost a couple of people to hypothermia recently.
Here in Kentucky, forecasters expect roughly half a foot of snow to fall. The conditions are threatening to impact rescue missions still taking place across the state. Officials say more than 1,000 rescues have taken place so far. And as temperatures fall, utility crews are scrambling to restore power to hundreds of homes and businesses.
Where we know it's going to be out the next couple days, again, very important to make sure those people are safe and likely out of their house, either with relatives, in a state park, or another warm, dry place.
More than 24 states are under similar snow and ice alerts this week. In Texas, crews have been working around the clock to treat and clear roads.
We're covering this 24 hours a day. All of our crew members are on call, so we are using anybody and everybody to fight this storm.
Forecasters say by Thursday, temperatures could reach record lows in several southern states. Cold weather shelters are already filling up, and some are preparing to house hundreds of people before the storm is over.
Me and my husband and my son, we had service dogs, and they had to be within us.
Here in Kentucky, officials are urging people to limit travel and to prepare emergency kits with flashlights and blankets. In Fulton, Kentucky, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Well, spring feels a long way away today, but we are in spring calving season for livestock farms here in the 4 states. Nicolette Zangara tells us about the added challenges when facing Arctic air and snow-covered pastures.
In the pasture you see behind me, about 50 of these cows are going to give birth in the next couple of days to a week. It's extreme weather like this that can turn a bred cow into a birthing one as conditions worsen.
Current event we just had was one of the most extreme events we've had in a long time. Just with the cold and the snow all coming at once, causes a lot of high stress on the animal, and stress will cause them to calve unexpectedly when normally they might have still had a few days or a few weeks left.
One cow at a small farm in Marshfield calved just before the winter storm. The family had room for one more inside. This calf, named Star, got quite the 5-star treatment before going to bed.
I'm pushing up my baby.
One of Jason Walker's cows started calving last night as well.
We had a cow that was having a calf right in the middle of that winter storm, and I carried blankets and heaters and milk replacer.
He used infrared technology to find the newborn calf in the dark with blowing snow.
We did everything we could to warm him up, but sometimes they just don't make it, but that's just kind of part of farming.
He has 2,500 acres and more than 100 currently bred cows, and Waka keeps a close eye on every single cow, bred or not, as if it were a family member.
We try to check these cows once a day during normal weather conditions, but the last couple of days with the severe weather, 2-3 times a day we're checking them.
Well, cattle farmers can do a number of things to help their cows have a healthy calf, but at the end of the day, in conditions like this, it's up to nature to decide who survives. Well, foreign tensions continue to rise as the White House works to mediate peace between Ukraine and Russia. After criticizing Ukraine's President Zelensky at a press conference, President Trump took to Truth Social to denounce U.S. aid to Ukraine and call Zelensky an opportunistic authoritarian. The public feud comes at a critical time as diplomatic efforts to end the war continue. With a federal judge's blessing, the government's extreme cost-cutting continues while federal workers and Democrats keep up their protest. DOJ is now targeting millions of government-issued credit cards, which rack up billions in charges every year. Fox News' Rebecca Castor has the latest.
Anti-DOJ protests continue in the nation's capital, with federal workers, union leaders, and Democratic lawmakers rallying outside the Department of Health and Human Services Wednesday.
They're running a coup on this country right now, and the Congress isn't doing a damn thing about it.
Under Elon Musk, Doge has cut thousands of federal jobs through buyouts and layoffs, including scientists working on critical healthcare research.
There's no sugarcoating this. These cuts will kill more Americans.
The sweeping dismissals even concerning some Republicans.
The fact that workers were let go who are working on avian flu, who are responsible for nuclear safety, shows that we need a far more careful approach.
But Musk is staying focused on Doge's ultimate goal.
The overall goal is to try to get $1 trillion out of the deficit. And if the deficit is not brought under control, America will go bankrupt.
Doge team members have already visited dozens of federal agencies to map out where they can cut costs. And now they're digging into government-issued credit cards, claiming there are roughly 4.6 million accounts responsible for $40 billion in spending last year.
I think he's going to find $1 trillion.
Yeah, I think so.
And in a post on X, Musk implied it might be time for Doge to audit the money the U.S. sent to Ukraine. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, want to get out and enjoy the snow, but it's just too cold? We've got tips to help you stay warm.
Well, of course, just a gloomy, raw night outside for us tonight. We have the snowpack, super cold across the region. This is what we are going to see as we go through the overnight hours. Let's look outside. Here's some of our alert cameras, our KDOT and MoDOT cameras. So looking at range line, it's still kind of patchy in spots, but most of the main roads are mainly clear. It's the side roads and the back roads that are still having a lot of issues. Extreme cold warning in effect tonight. This is due to our temps, which are going to drop well below zero by the time we get into the morning. Already it's -1 in Stockton, 5 in Neosho, 8 at Grand Lake. Look at Pittsburgh too. It's 0 in Lamar. Make sure you are dripping your faucets as we go through the overnight hours. Winds are still going to be a little bit light. They finally switch out of the south once we get into Friday. What that will do in return is start us on a nice little warming trend as we go into the weekend. Look at our wind chills by morning. Dangerously cold, -20, -25 degrees. They only climb to about 5 tomorrow, and then they kind of go right back down as we head into the evening hours. But clear skies. So we have clear skies. The winds have diminished a little bit. And with that snowpack, of course, our temperatures are just plummeting across the region. Here's our snow up the eastern seaboard. Another little wave, western third of the country. Not a huge deal. Give some clouds, maybe a random flurry or two. All right, let's go through time. Temperatures near morning, -8, 9, 10 degrees. So it is going to get down there. As we go into the noon hour tomorrow, I think most of us near 10. And then a high temp, 13, 14, 15 degrees. So still bitterly cold, smidge better than what we saw today. Tomorrow night, here we go again. I think most of us -1, -2 degrees. And then on Friday, looking better as we climb into the upper 20s during the afternoon hours. All right, day planner on your Thursday, -5 to start, 11 by noon, high temp, only 14 degrees. Heading into the weekend, we finally get above freezing on Saturday. We should go into the mid-30s. Check this out. By Sunday, upper 40s, and we keep going up. By Monday, I think most of us near 60. And then on Tuesday, most of us should be into the lower 60s. So we do a complete 180 as we go through the next few days. Chances for rain. This is going to really kind of be our next storm system moving in the middle of next week. Alert day on your Thursday due to the extreme cold. High temp 14, 27 on Friday, 37 Saturday, and then those 60s next week. Looking pretty good.
I'm looking forward to our lows getting closer to the freezing point.
Yeah,
after
that's
this,
gonna be nice.
after this weekend, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, if you're ever on the go and you want to still be able to watch our newscast live, just download the KOAM Plus app. It's available free of charge on the App Store of your choice. Just search for KOAM Plus. Still to come, the cold can be just as dangerous for our four-legged friends. We have advice for keeping them safe and warm. Plus, the bitter cold didn't stop kids of all ages from taking their sleds to King Jack Park in Webb City today. We'll take you there. Despite the extremely cold temps, sledding enthusiasts took to the snow-packed hills across the 4 states today. Our Skyview drone captured some of them sledding in Webb City at King Jack Park. Now, if you do decide to venture out into the dangerous cold, please be careful. Adam Woodbury has more about staying warm while braving the elements to have some fun.
We've been out here now for almost an hour. This is the first year we actually came out here to this hill. We've always heard about it and had to go check it out, and it's been a blast so far.
This is awesome! The frigid winter temperatures may be hitting the Ozarks, but these sledders weren't about to let a good snowy hill go to waste.
It's like super really fun and kind of terrifying when you flip.
It's really fun. I love it. I love sledding.
And they all agree it's cold out, but they came prepared.
Well, it's a little cold, but like you just have to put on a bunch of layers. But yeah, it's pretty cold.
I'm pretty layered up. The hands get a little cold sometimes. That's why I brought the gloves too, but he's the one that's having fun, and that's all that matters.
In this bitter cold, and with even cooler days in the forecast, having those warm layers are even more important. When the temperature falls below 31 degrees, the American Red Cross says to limit your time outside. Take a break and go inside every 20 to 30 minutes. But when it drops below 13 degrees, it's best to stay inside if you can, as frostbite can quickly set in. And if you do go out, remember to wear those warm, extra layers.
Well, and if you kids weren't out here sledding today, what would you be doing instead?
Playing outside.
Still playing outside, okay.
Yeah.
But these families all say they were dressed warmly so they could all enjoy the snow while it lasts.
Welcome to Missouri, because next week is going to be 60s and above.
And I'm looking forward to that. And something else to keep in mind over the next couple of days, the wind chills could be getting as low as -20. Oh, that's enough for frostbite or hypothermia to develop in as little as 30 minutes. We'll be right back. The freezing temperatures can pose a risk for humans, but they can also be dangerous for our furry friends. KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke to a local sheriff about how to prevent winter weather-related medical emergencies for our pets.
Cold weather, especially when you have pets outside.
As we bundle up to brave the low temperatures lately, it's important to remember our four-legged friends.
To get them out of the wind, out of the cold, provide plenty of bedding for them to keep warm.
In the midst of the freezing temperatures, the Joplin Humane Society made a post alerting people that when the temperature drops below freezing, pets should only be exposed to these temperatures for 15 to 30 minutes at a time. Also, the Labette County Sheriff says keeping them inside can keep them safe.
This is don't keep them outside if they don't have to be. Take them inside because, with these temperatures, they will get cold a lot quicker, and there's always a chance that they could freeze.
The Joplin Humane Society also points out that pets that are either very old, very young, or have short fur are even more susceptible to the dangers of the cold weather, like hypothermia. The sheriff also says dogs that aren't used to the freezing temps are better off staying inside where it's warm.
Double coat dogs that are used to cold weather, that's much different than one that's been in the house and you leave it outside. Or where we live, I would say they need to bring them in because they're not exposed to cold weather temperatures year round like they are up in the northern Arctic part.
And he wants to remind people that dehydration isn't only a risk to pets in the summer. It can be a big risk during the winter weather, so it's best to make sure your pet's water bowl hasn't frozen over.
Get dehydrated. You need to make sure that they have fresh water, that there's no ice on it, and make sure they have plenty of food. They need the food to keep the energy up, to burn calories, to keep them warm.
And he says heated water bowls can help ice from building up in the water bowls. I'm Melissa Alexis reporting.
Well, the Joplin Humane Society says some signs of hypothermia in pets include lethargy, difficulty walking, and low heart rate. Well, coming up, a first look at the Pedro Pascal-led Freaky Tales, and the White Lotus sets a series premiere record. Those stories and more in Hollywood Nation. A crime drama, an animated tale, and more. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has more on all of these stories and more in today's Hollywood Nation.
This underdog has seen his last day.
Pascal's 1987 tale, Looney Tunes on the big screen, and fans check into the White Lotus in today's Hollywood Nation.
What happens in Thailand stays in Thailand.
Season 3 of The White Lotus scored a premiere high for the series. The show brought in 2.4 million viewers, 57% higher than Season 2's premiere, and 155% higher than Season 1. New episodes air Sundays on HBO and stream on Max.
We're posing as feds.
Apple TV Plus debuted the trailer for its new 8-episode book-to-screen crime drama, Dope Thief, starring Brian Tyree Henry. Henry is also an executive producer, along with Ridley Scott, who directed the first episode. The series follows longtime friends in Philadelphia who pose as DEA agents to rob drug dealers. The first 2 episodes premiere March 14th, then run weekly through April 25th.
There's no way we could screw this up.
The first fully animated feature-length Looney Tunes film has shared a first look. The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, is a buddy comedy with Porky Pig and Daffy Duck and is in theaters March 14th.
We got one more job for you. Sleepy Floyd.
And the trailer for Freaky Tales has been released. Set in 1987, Oakland, California. The genre mix features a mashup of characters, including an NBA star corrupt cop and female rap duo on a collision course in what's described as a fever dream of showdowns and battles. Among the cast are Pedro Pascal, Ben Mendelsohn, and Jay Ellis. It's in theaters April 4th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of animals at the Oregon Zoo enjoying this snowy weather. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.